Welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you are returning, thank you so much for returning. So I kind of just wanted to go on here and just pretty much explain what happened with Emery Monday night, because I posted a picture saying that it was the worst night ever. So I kind of just want to explain it. So starting back on Friday, she kind of had like a cough and some runny nose, or a runny nose. And I didn't think too much of it because she was previous that weekend before that she was sick with fevers. So I was like, oh, she's just getting sick again. So that happened. She still had the cough Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday she had it, and then later on that day she started getting a fever. It only was at like 99 to 100. So I was just assuming it was teething because she kept chewing on things. She was chewing on her hands, so I assumed that. And then or actually when we got home from the grocery store that day, it was around like 3 or 4:30. I think it was like 3:30. I took her out of her car seat and she was pretty warm to me, so I checked her temperature, and it was, at that time, it was 101. So I gave her Motrin, and we ate, and she was acting normal, like nothing was wrong with her. And then I put her down for bed or before 7, so like around like 6:40. She didn't have a fever at that time because of the Motrin, so that was good. And then I kept checking up on her because she kept like waking up crying. And then that was around like 8. She started to wake up and cry. So I woke up. Oh, I didn't wake up. I gave her more Motrin because it was at 102 at that time, and I said, okay, her fever is going up higher. So I gave her the Motrin, and then like 20 minutes later, I checked it and it went down. So I was like, okay, it's working, but she kept still waking up crying. So I took her to our room, so just to have her lay with me. And then she wasn't falling asleep because she couldn't sleep. So randomly she kind of just jerk and then start crying. Like if she got scared or the chills, because obviously she had the fever. So I checked her temperature at that time. It was still 101. And then she kept doing that till about, this was already like around like, I want to say like 10. That's when I first took her to the room. And she was just laying with me. So like I want to say like every like 20 minutes she did that. She would just randomly jerk and start crying. I was able to calm her down, so I just assumed it was from the fevers. And then out of nowhere she did it again, and she just stopped crying, and she just instantly started just jerking like crazy. It was so scary. She had like a blank expression on her face. She wasn't crying at all. She was just like out of it, just jerking. So it was like really scary. Like obviously I was crying. My husband started freaking out. I wanted to call 911 because obviously that was a seizure. And it is normal when a kid has a fever, they could end up getting a seizure. I can't say that word. A seizure. So call 911. The paramedics arrived around, I want to say like 11:40. This happened around like at that time. They did her vitals. She started sorry. She started coughing, so she ended up throwing up, just because like how all the firefighters and paramedics were here. So I think that like overwhelmed her, and she was still pretty out of it at that time. Like you could just tell in her face. So me and her went in the paramedic truck and went to the Kaiser down the street. Luckily, we're only like 5 minutes away. So at that time, of course, they did her vitals in the truck, and then we got to the hospital, and they did a rectal temperature on her, and she was at 104.6. So it jumped up pretty high from being home before the paramedics arrived, like right after she had her seizure. I took her temperature and it was at 101 still. So it jumped up pretty high. So we got there, and then the nurse wanted to give her Tylenol, and I told her she doesn't really take Tylenol too well. Like, I give her Motrin. I give her Tylenol occasionally, but every time I give her Tylenol, she spits it up, and I have to like lay her down on her back and like hold her cheeks and try to put it as far like to her cheek as possible and squeeze it in, and then blow at her face so she could swallow it. That's just how it's had to been since she was a baby. She just doesn't take medication very well. So I told her this. At that time I was holding her because they just checked her temperature, and so she's like, oh, let's just put her in the car seat and we'll do it that way. I was like, okay, whatever. I told her I usually do it laying down. So we did that, and Emery, she took all the Tylenol, but she spit it up. So we got it everywhere. So I had to get her out. I cleaned her up. And then the nurse is like, okay, well, we're going to have to do a suppository because she's not taking the Tylenol. I was like, okay. Sorry, Avery's back there. And we're watching a movie. So that happened, and that was around like 1. So we got there about like 12, and she got the suppository at like 1, and then they didn't give us a room for a while. I think we didn't get a room till like 2 maybe. And then it took a while for the doctor to come in to check her, and then he checked her. He said her breathing's fine. I asked him if it could possibly be pneumonia, just to be on the safe side, and he said no, because her breathing sounds good. So it's probably just like a virus that's going around. So he wanted to just double check to make sure it wasn't the flu. So they did like a swab in her nose, and then they sent it out to get tested. It came back negative, thankfully. But all he said was that now, since she's had the seizure while having a fever, that now we have to keep an eye on her because it possibly could happen again. So just anytime she has like fevers or like she's sick with the fever, to just literally be on top of giving her the medication. So like every I think he told us like every 3 hours switch off from Tylenol to Motrin, or even if she doesn't have any fevers while she's sick, just to be on the safe side, just to give her Motrin or Tylenol right before she goes to bed. So just in case she gets a fever randomly at night, like she'll be hopefully good. So that's what he told us to do. And yeah, I forgot. I think they called it like a febrile seizure. I can't like remember the word what he used, what the phrase, not the phrase, but the term that he used that she has. Nothing like serious, so where she needs to get medication or anything like that. Just we just have to keep an eye on her. He said that this could last up until she's like 5. So hopefully this will be her last one, because it was very scary to have her in my arms just jerking like that, and just her face was just blank. So it was very scary for us. And we didn't get home until like 4:30, I want to say. I was so tired at the hospital. Like I started to fall asleep around like 3. And it took forever. So if I'm playing with like my hair, it's just because I look like a mess. I have no makeup on. I had makeup on from last night, but I wiped that off. I'm in like the same shirt from yesterday, and if you see, there's like nasty stuff all over me. But it's on the table. Oh, sorry. So So I have like throw up on me. I'm just like a big mess from Emery. And then since we had Avery, like we didn't want to wake her up just to take her Emery to the hospital. So we called my in-laws. They live literally like 5 minutes down the street from us. So I went with Emery, and then my husband stayed back with Avery until they arrived, and then he went to the hospital with me. So it all worked out, and I was super thankful that they got there, or that they got here as soon as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened last night. That was pretty scary. I don't want that to ever happen again. Avery's had high fevers like that, not to the point where it was at 104 or like spiked up that quick, but she never had like the seizure. So it's something new with Emery. Very scary. And yeah, I'm pretty tired. Like I didn't go to bed until like 5, and I woke up like at 7:30 or something like that, because Avery was in there being all loud, and I didn't want her to wake up Emery because Emery had like a rough night. So I came out here. I just gave her cereal today. I wanted to make them breakfast today, but I'm so tired. I just gave her cereal. I ate cereal, and I'm gonna be eating my coffee. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened last night. I have some clips of her at the hospital just to kind of show you guys how she looked. She looked a little bit better when she got the Tylenol, but you could tell she was just so tired and not feeling good. But yeah, I'll probably post those clips at the end of this. But I just kind of want to come on here, explain what happened. I want to thank everybody for all your concerns. She's doing much better now. She's just resting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you kind of understood what I meant. Sorry if it didn't really make sense. I was just kind of more in the moment at that time when everything was happening. I was tired, so you could always DM me and ask me more questions if you want to ask me more questions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in our next video.